Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mr. President, I want to thank you for the opportunity to address the community. I want to thank everybody for coming out and those that are watching virtually with us. Thank you for joining into progress of local government. I want to start with a public safety update. Certainly want to again extend our prayers and our support for those victims of violence in our community, certainly those that were impacted in the mass shooting that took place here a couple of weeks ago. We have taken 4 suspects into custody in connection with the October 4th shooting that took place downtown. One of those suspects, unfortunately, was released on bond on yesterday. I think highlighting some of the challenges that we're having with our system as it relates to the hard work that the men and women of the Montgomery Police Department, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, and all of our law enforcement entities, ALEA, and everybody that do when we arrest people and we look up before we can even get back in our offices, they're out. And so I reached out to our district attorney, Azzy Oliver, and asked to see what could be done. And as of today, she's looking at petitioning for a higher bond where that's concerned. While that would be helpful, I do think for us, and not just maybe for our city, but for other cities, municipalities, we got to look at bail and bond reform for violent offenders. And certainly when it comes to Aniah's law, making sure that attempted murder is one of those crimes that is brought under that umbrella. But I want us to make sure that throughout all of this, we're working to make our city safer, and my hat goes off to our men and women with the Montgomery Police Department, Fire and Rescue, and 911, as well as EMA and everybody that's involved in our public safety. We want to continue to remain focused on arrests, prevention, and partnerships that will move this city forward. Now I want to transition to a financial update. It's been a little while since we've kind of highlighted this from my vantage point, but we're now in the 13th accounting period, which will close the general ledger for the fiscal year 2025. The external auditors have already begun the audit process to have the annual comprehensive financial report ready for submission to the Government Finance Officers Association no later than March 31st, 2026, so that the city can qualify for the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. Briefly, I'll provide you with the highlights on 4 categories of revenue collections in the city for the month of September and the cumulative collections for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025. Revenue from sales and use taxes declined by 1.35% in September compared to the same period in fiscal year 2024. This decline in sales and use taxes was reflected in 4 months of fiscal year 2025 compared to the same periods in the previous year. A factor that may be attributable to the decline is an additional 1% reduction in the sales and use tax by the Alabama Department of Revenue on certain grocery food type items eligible under SNAP benefits, which lead to an overall revenue drop for jurisdictions relying partly on statewide collections. Another factor that I have mentioned from time to time during the last couple of years is that of a return to more normal growth patterns after the pandemic surge. After the pandemic, stimulus, heightened spending, and sales tax growth were unusually high. As things normalize, less stimulus money, inflation pressures, supply chain normalization, growth usually slows. Our city is likely seeing this normalization. What was unsustainably high growth is leveling off or dipping, leading to a decline compared to a year ago. Year over year, sales and use taxes collected were slightly under 2%. Lodging tax revenue was strong in September and came in at a double digit or 10% over the same period in FY 2024. Year over year, lodging tax revenue had a growth rate of slightly over 5%. Although gasoline tax revenue grew significantly during the last quarter of fiscal year 2025, this was primarily due to a 3-cent increase adopted by the City Council. The additional 3 cents amount was earmarked for road paving and bridge repairs throughout the city. The average increase in gasoline tax over the last quarter was more than 39%. Year over year, this revenue stream was more than 12% compared to the previous year. Monthly collections for alcoholic beverage tax revenue were all over the map in FY 2025, with huge swings in some months. September's collections were up 46% compared to September 2024. Apparently, consumption of spirits has increased in existing local bars and restaurants and due to new liquor venues opening in the city. Year over year, collections were up more than 5% compared to the previous year. This completes my report on revenue collections for fiscal year 2025. Now we want to welcome our new hire, our Deputy Chief Financial Officer, Natasha Jackson. Ms. Jackson is a certified public accountant with over 20 years of professional experience, including leadership roles in state government, higher education, and other nonprofit sectors. With a passion for financial operations, Natasha excels in financial reporting, multi-source budgeting, federal and state grant management, and technology integration. She holds a Bachelor of Science and a Bachelor of Arts in Accounting from Hawaii Pacific University and an MBA from Auburn University in Montgomery. On September 2nd, we had the honor of hosting Jeff Canada, founder and president of the Harlem Children's Zone, and Christian Rhodes, Chief National Impact Officer. Their visit was part of our ongoing effort to build a cradle-to-career pipeline for Montgomery's youth. We toured neighborhoods and schools, met with leaders from education, philanthropy, business, healthcare, faith, and higher education, and explored how to replicate the Harlem Children's Zone's success right here in Montgomery. This visit marks a major step in our mission to ensure every child in our city has the opportunity to thrive.
My name is Jeffrey Canada. I am the founder of the Harlem Children's Zone. I created the Harlem Children's Zone more than 20 years ago because the children involved had the worst education outcomes of any of our kids in New York City. I believe that if you care about your young people and you know they are failing, then this is the time that we have to step up and do something different. I'm here in Montgomery because I met Mayor Reed, and I was impressed with his passion around children, disadvantaged children, the children of Montgomery, and the fact that he recognizes so many of these children. We're leaving so much of their possibilities on the ground. He came to visit us at the Harlem Children's Zone. He saw what we had done there, and he said, you know, we need similar kinds of actions in Montgomery. We need to identify that there's a real problem. As importantly, there are real solutions, and then we've got to really come up with a plan of how we're going to make sure we change the trajectory for failing students here in Montgomery the way we did in Harlem. I'm not saying it's the same thing that's going to work here, that worked there. I'm saying it's the same principles. You've got to have a decent education. You've got to have powerful after school. You've got to have things for kids to do on the weekends and in the summertime. This is not about Montgomery. This is about the children all over America. And right now, we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. We're saying it's time to try something new.
First of all, having City of Montgomery, we're just grateful that Jeff Canada, founder of the Harlem Children's Zone, to learn from best practices what they've done around placemaking is a game changer for us. And to get him here, we wanted to make sure that he got a chance to see some of the neighborhoods that we're targeting for urban renewal and infill development, but also kind of what our approach is to education and placemaking. And really, some things that we're doing okay, some of the things that we may not be doing quite so okay, that we can get their advice and their guidance on. So, coming to TISM, I was just waiting to show about the investment that we've done in the community center, visiting Clark Elementary, very, very powerful as well to see what some of our leading teachers and educators are doing. And certainly, just bringing it all back to placemaking and making sure that people in respective neighborhoods have the same opportunity regardless of their zip code. Part of the goal for us is to leverage public-private partnerships. And that video shows one of the best in the Harlem Children's Zone. We had several staff members recently go back to meet with them, as well as some community leaders here, to really help us understand how do we bring those strategies and tactics to our community to really change outcomes for those that are in similar situations here in Montgomery. So we look forward to bringing not only the City Council, but also the entire community more progress as it relates to our partnership with the Harlem Children's Zone and Jeff Canada and Christian Rhodes, and more importantly, the impact it will have on our young people throughout our community. When we think about public safety, when we started this conversation, is directly tied to the amount and the level of education and investment that we put in them as young people. And we've got to make sure that we're doing the things to reach them now so that we don't have further complications in our communities and in our neighborhoods because of what we didn't do as leaders. So we'll be having some more conversations about it, and we'll make sure that we keep the council and the community updated on that partnership. Now, I want to move on to the Riverfront stage at the Silos. We're excited to announce the Riverfront stage is officially moving forward. This new venue will transform our Riverfront Park into a vibrant destination for live concerts and performances, community festivals, and cultural events, tourism, and local business growth. This project is a key part of our downtown action plan designed by Montgomery's own Chambliss King Architects. Funding has come from a strong coalition of economic development, Parks and Recreation, Councilor Marsha Johnson, the State Tourism Department, the Montgomery Area Chamber Foundation, and the city's general fund. The project was advertised for bid on October 16th, and we encourage all qualified firms to apply. Construction is expected to begin shortly after bids close on November the 6th, with completion anticipated in 4 to 5 months. Now, certainly want to touch on Jackson Hospital, which I know the City Council will be discussing here in just a few minutes. I want to reemphasize the city's commitment to ensuring quality health care is accessible for all of our residents. And not only as a state capital, but also as a regional economic hub, we know that it's important for us to take the lead when it comes to initiatives like this that impact all of Central Alabama. However, we do want to make sure that everybody's on the same page in all of the partnerships that we have both between the city, the county, the state, and regional partners. I feel after talking to the City Council President today that we're in a better place than we were a couple of days ago. After talking to County Commission Chairman Doug Singleton, certainly I think we're in a better place. And I think that we have a good opportunity for us to move forward with this initiative and with this partnership. I think it's important that as city leaders, as county leaders, and as community leaders, that we think about healthcare not as a stopgap circumstance and not for stopgap solutions, but how do we invest for the long term? The last I checked, none of us are getting any younger as the days move on. So we all are going to need healthcare at some point. The question is for us, what quality of healthcare will we have in our city and in our region? And that is so important, not only to the quality of life for our residents, but it's important to the quality of life for future generations. And we want to make sure that we're doing the things today that not only make sense and address what Jackson Hospital is dealing with, but also our other partners, whether that's Baptist Health and our UAB partnership and others that are really, really looking for leadership and guidance from us right here in the capital city. And I think we have a great opportunity with this crisis is to make sure that we're advocating for long-term strategies at the state level, to make sure we're advocating for changes from our benefits providers, and to make sure that we can do the things that are going to be necessary to recruit and retain top medical professionals in our community. All of those things are so important. And so as we continue to work on this initiative, I want to thank the City Council for their feedback and for their conversation and dialogue around this issue. I want to thank our business community, our faith leaders and community leaders also for weighing in. And we certainly look forward to making sure that not only just this issue and this window with Jackson Hospital, but over the long term that we address this moving forward. Now I'll transition to upcoming events, and we'll just highlight a few before I take my seat. As you can see, a lot of us are wearing pink today. I want to thank Councilman Grimes and Mrs. Grimes for their providing the pins for breast cancer awareness. And Wednesday is Wear Pink Wednesday. So you get a chance to wear pink 2 days in a row for some of us. October 22nd, because October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we want people to join us at 10 a.m. in Oak Park for a Breast Cancer Awareness Walk hosted by Parks and Recreation. Let's honor our survivors and remember those that we've lost and raise awareness for early detection and treatment. We also want to highlight all of our veterans in our community. We're proud to be a community that recognizes and honors our veterans each and every day. But Tuesday, November 11th will be the Veterans Day celebration. And we will pay tribute in particular to Vietnam veterans, marking 50 years since the end of the Vietnam War. Join us for a full day of events. 10 a.m. Veterans Day Parade through downtown Montgomery, 11 a.m. Veterans Resource Fair at Riverwalk Stadium, and 12 p.m. Veterans Day Ceremony at Riverwalk Stadium featuring guest speakers, military honors, and community tributes. Let's come together to thank those who have served and continue to serve our nation. We also have coming up the 15th Annual Riverwalk Wine Festival, Friday, November 14th. Join us at 6 p.m. on the Riverwalk for an evening of wine, food, and music. Enjoy tastings from top regional and local wineries, delicious bites from food and specialty vendors, live jazz music under the stars, and whether you're a wine enthusiast or just looking for a great night out, this event offers something for everyone. So we encourage everyone to purchase tickets, use that QR code, or go to www.enjoymtm.com and come on out with your friends and neighbors and just have a good time on Friday, November the 14th. Now, we're coming up on a very important anniversary, and that is the 70th anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott. We'll have events going from November 29th to December the 7th. We are honored to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott, a movement that changed the course of American history. This week's-long commemoration will include a unity walk for peace and justice, youth summits and educational forums, mass meetings at historic churches, and the Rosa L. Parks Gala celebrating the legacy of those who stood for justice. This is more than a remembrance, it's a call to action. Let us honor the past and inspire the future. We look forward to sharing more details with you in our upcoming city council meetings, and we look forward to everyone's participation. The entire city of Montgomery, the entire state of Alabama, and the entire country and beyond are invited to participate in the home of the bus boycott and us commemorating the 70th anniversary of such a courageous event and one that showed commitment of courage by everyday leaders in our community. Finally, we want to honor someone who is making a difference in the lives of others, and not just to those in our city, but to me personally. It's always an honor to celebrate one of Montgomery's dedicated educators. But this moment is especially meaningful because I have the privilege of calling her both a friend and a church member. Ms. Kathy Mays, affectionately known as Mama Mays, began her journey as an educator in the 1970s at Morning View Elementary School. A proud graduate of Alabama State University, she poured her heart into teaching generations of Montgomery's children. She retired after decades of service, but her story didn't end there. About 10 years ago, she returned to Morning View, continuing to serve with the same passion and love that defined her early years. Today, she's teaching the children and even grandchildren of her original students. Her legacy is one of unwavering commitment, deep compassion, and a love for her students and a community that has never wavered. On behalf of the City of Montgomery, I am proud to present this proclamation in her honor, a small token of our immense gratitude for a lifetime of service. So Mama Mays will ask you and Daryl and the rest of the family, you'll come on up, and if you have any words you'd like to share, come on and do that so we can grab a picture. Congratulations.
I'm speechless.
Pull your mic down.
I'm speechless right now. But I really enjoy what I do. And it's all because of the children. I love the children. And I just follow God's lead. Wherever He leads me, I'll follow. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, Ms. Miller,
Ms. Miller, come on up, too.
give him your card. Give him your card. Feel a lot of love. Congratulations, Derek. All right. Congratulations. Congratulations.
All right, Mr. President, that concludes my report. Thank you for the opportunity.